as a party, we have already advocated very clearly that there are certain laws under this constitution, particularly the electoral law, the Political Parties Act. Some of the provisions are draconian, and we are saying that if we, as I said earlier, the timeline, because we had to go through the Supreme Court, we know the provisions that the Supreme Court has recommended, particularly the reduction from 75% majority to two-thirds majority, and referendum from 75 to simple majority. These are good decisions by the Supreme Court to enable a change in, because with the previous provision, you could never change a constitution. But what we are saying is that if we are going into the election under the 2013 constitution, there is still time between now and when we have the election to change the provisions in the Electoral Act and the Political Parties Act which restrict political activities. For example, the electoral law, the campaign laws, these are so prohibitive. You make one mistake, you could be in the court. You say something to somebody about voting for them, could be construed as vote buying. These are draconian laws that was enacted by the previous government to keep the opposition at bay. Like there are manifesto rules. Political Party Act is another draconian piece of legislation. So that can be changed within under this constitution and before the next election. And I'm told that the Attorney General's office is working on bringing those changes to Parliament around August.
My question, in fact, I didn't finish it, and you answered part of it. My question, in fact, was this. A suggestion came yesterday that we should defer election, allow interim government to be there for 12 months till all this is sorted out, and then have election. My question is, what do you say to that?
Simple answer. There is no provision in the Constitution to defer elections. Simple. And that's why we are saying that if, and we believe that the timeline is too ambitious to have a new constitution, to have new electoral arrangements in place, boundaries, looking at the population distribution. These are very delicate, intricate, requires expert looking at this, appropriate data, statistics to be able to do this properly. And so we are saying that there is no provision in the 2013 Constitution. Supreme Court has said that this Constitution is legally valid. They have made recommendations. So there is no provision in the Constitution for any attempt to defer the election.